Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything with that thing on. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Nirvana Batman Games at Disney Zone. And I just got back from my first day at Kawaii Kon 2015. So for anyone out there who hasn't heard of Kawaii Kon, I guess you would have to actually live in Honolulu to really know about it all that much. Kawaii Kon is like this convention here in the islands that started like I think over a decade ago, and it's been going pretty damn strong. I mean, it's grown really huge. It started off like just at at a hotel at Ala Moana, just like a really little space at a hotel just like near my place, and it was just tiny, and now it actually was able to eventually, like I think after like maybe like the third one onwards, they were able to move it into our local convention center, and it's gotten big. I mean, we've gotten like some really great guests this year. They really pulled out all the stops. I mean, we got like, just to name a few: Toru Furuya, Todd Haberkorn, Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, Bryce Papenbrook. Sorry, hard to pronounce. Air Aoi, Cassandra Morris. These are like huge guys, and I was so excited for this year's con. And so, based on what I've seen today, I was not disappointed because they did a great job in my opinion, with some hiccups that I'll go over. But yeah. So the interesting. So, let me just go through this. So, the interesting thing about this con is that I didn't actually start it off with the opening ceremonies like you would at most cons. Apparently, the opening ceremonies this year, they decided to move it, schedule it for like 1 o'clock p.m. So, I don't know why they decided to do it that much later into the day, but I didn't care as long as it delivered, and I guess they needed a little bit more extra time to set up. I honestly think it was for the better because at least they were able to like flesh out the schedule a lot better, and I was able to go through some interesting panels at least. The first panel I went to today was actually one for Toho 101 basically. The Toho series is something that I have a passing knowledge of, and this panel was really informative. I mean, I haven't really seen what the games look like. I just knew that they were bullet hell, and I figured it went. I've played a few bullet hells, like Ikaruga for the GameCube, and I thought it was a ton of fun. And I was able to beat it, so I figured maybe I should play the whole game sometime. And then I saw demos of this game, and holy Jesus Christ, how did people play those games? I mean, they look like the Toho games look like a ton of fun, and the music is fantastic. I mean, the panel told me about how like the creator Zune actually did it by himself. That's impressive, but he mostly did it because he wanted to make the music for it, and the music was great. The drawings for the original Toho games look not so great, but that's beside the point. I can understand why people enjoy those games. So, but I think it's definitely a game series for challenge lovers. So yeah, I went to that panel. It was very informative. Maybe on down the line, you should take a look at those fan-made. Well, I have actually seen the fan-made movies of the Toho series, and like the first two, and I really should. Memories of Phantasm, the first two, I probably should check them out more. They look really. Now that I look at them again, they look fantastic. So yeah, that was fun. So after that, I just waited outside the main events hall for the opening ceremonies, and they were great, except again for a few hiccups. The first big hiccup was, you know how like if you've been to a con, you've seen like they usually open up with those little AMVs at the beginning. Well, something went wrong in the middle of our AMV, and I think the video cut out for like a few seconds. And when you have like a AMV and that's supposed to get you excited for the con, I think you should try and make sure that your tech is good, that so that it doesn't cut out for those precious few seconds of what looked like a really awesome AMV. By the way, I mean, I guess Kawaii Kon will post it on YouTube later, but that looked like a really impressive AMV, and I don't know what went wrong on the technical side. Well, actually, I think I did smell a little bit of burning rubber. I was like in the front row, and I could smell like burning rubber. I guess maybe a wire got overheated or something. I'm just glad that it didn't burn it. That nothing burned and set anything on fire. I mean, Jesus, I hope they fix that by tomorrow, actually. Anyway, the opening ceremonies, aside from that, went down pretty well, except for the... Well, I'll get to this Reiko person later. She's not good. I mean... we'll talk. Anyway, after the opening ceremonies, I then went down to like a panel with Cassandra Morris, where she basically, for those who don't know, Cassandra Morris has done like a bunch of characters, including Kyubey from Madoka, Taiga from Toradora, and of course Ritsu from K-On! I mean, she was a fun lady, and she really seems to enjoy her work as a voice actress, and she gave us the benefit of checking out like these bloopers from Madoka and Blue Exorcist, and they were hilarious. I mean, I'm sorry I can't show you footage of the bloopers. She made us promise not to post any of the bloopers online because she always wants to take them with her to cons. So yeah, if you ever see like a panel with her, I would recommend checking it out because she might have those bloopers of Madoka and Blue Exorcist and let me just put it this way, the Madoka bloopers were fantastic because you got to hear sweet little Madoka in her gentle little voice swear like Rocket Raccoon on a bad day. Just keep that in your mind if you ever want to sit in on one of Cassandra Morris's panels, because that's what you're in for. Madoka swearing up a storm. If that doesn't get your attention, then I don't know what else will. So I went to that, and then and then I went to the dealer's room. They didn't have a lot, so I picked up this little cutie. I don't think it's good. You're not going to bite my head off, are you? Good. Okay. So yeah, I picked up this thing before it got sold out, and I'm really happy because don't you think it looks cute? Just look at her. No? Screw you then. Anyways, I picked that up, and then afterwards, I think, what was next? Oh yeah, I went to a panel with Toru Furuya or not that. I actually went to a panel with Rob Paulson and Rob Paulson and sorry, I forgot his name. Jess Harnell. I can never remember his last name. Rob Paulson and Jess Harnell. The voice, for those who don't know, those are the voice actors between Yakko and Wacko, respectively. There was no way in hell that a kid who grew up in the 90s like me was going to miss out on a panel like that. Basically, they were recording a podcast for Rob Paulson's, and it was a hoot because Rob is a fun guy. He had like a lot of good stories along with Jess, and they just like they played up Yakko and Wacko, and just they were just a ton of fun to listen to, and I'm sorry I don't have footage of that. I should have probably gotten footage. I did get footage of the opening ceremonies, which I'll post later for you guys. But yeah, they were. What did they do? I think they talked about their careers. They talked about less notable parts of their career, or parts of their career that they want to forget. Like, I think Jess Harnell admitted that at first. Jess Harnell admitted that one of the most embarrassing moments in his career was the viewing of Drawn Together, the movie. I feel so sorry for Jess. But still, yet they. I love that they were professionals who really showed why they got into the business and how great they are. I love how actually Jess had this great story where he actually where he was like at Disney World with his mom, and his mom insisted that he actually tell this kid that he played Wacko in Animaniacs, and apparently the kid didn't believe him. The little brat just like actually challenged him to a game of where to see who could play Wacko better, and he just did give it as apparently did try to act out as Wacko, but the kid still didn't believe that he was Wacko, and claimed that he could play Wacko better. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, just give the kid up. I won't go any further than that. Shouldn't get that dark. But yeah, the fun panel overall, and then I ended the day with a panel with Toru Furuya. For those who don't know, Toru Furuya is the voice actor behind Amuro Ray, Tuxedo Mask, and of course Ribbons, another character from Gundam, and of course Yamcha, the punching bag for everyone and the basic punching bag of the Dragon Ball universe. Poor bastard. But yeah, it was the panel. I mean, Furuya-san was a fun guy and all. It's just that the translator, this lady got to be like the main translator for this con, Reiko, her name was. She was awful. I mean, she's supposed to be like the translator for this entire con. I don't know, she can't translate very well at all. I mean, she claims that she's been living as a radio announcer in Honolulu for 15 years now, and yet I'm not seeing a very good English vocabulary in her, and she just like, I'm not sure how much she actually slaughtered everyone's questions, including mine, where I basically asked him about his role as playing both Amuro and Ribbons, but I was able to get a clear answer, but only after some persuasion, because this translator was just terrible. But that aside, it was a good panel to go out on, because Furuya-san was like a lot of fun, and I learned like some interesting things from him. Like for one thing, apparently, while Furuya-san was fully willing to basically become the narrator for Gundam-san, a parody of Gundam, I also heard like the voice actor of Char, Ikeda Shuichi or something, I don't know, the voice actor of Char actually turned down offers to come play, I don't know, somebody on Gundam-san, because apparently he didn't want to like be involved in parodies of his favorite character to play as Char. I'm like, gee, funny that Ikeda-san would turn down a show where he's parodying Char, considering that in C Cubed he played a character who was clearly a spoof of Char. But that's aside from everything else, isn't it? Just, you're not willing to play a character who's a parody of Char in a Gundam parody show, and yet you're willing to play a character who in C Cubed would wear a ridiculous mask that was and wore red, because, yeah, that's clearly not spoofing your favorite character. No. You go play that character in C Cubed, like, whatever. So yeah, that was an interesting thing to hear. Another interesting thing to hear is like I was able to learn that for Sailor Moon Crystal, the new remake of Sailor Moon that's out, he was apparently sad that he couldn't replay Tuxedo Mask because some new younger actor was replacing him, but interesting thing I learned was that uh, that actor who replaced him, I think Nojiba Kenji, Kenji was actually apparently Furuya actually knew Kenji because apparently he was bandmates with Kenji's father, so that was interesting to learn that he actually knew Kenji, and I guess because of that he was more than willing to give up the role of Tuxedo Mask to him. So that was actually a touching story to hear. And then the last thing I heard from him was somebody asking him what his favorite Super Sentai was, and he answered that it was Go Kaiser apparently. Gee, I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that he played Aka Red in that show. You know, I actually should do a video about Go Kaiser on down the line. I'll get back to you on that. But anyways, it was a fun first day at the con, and I'll keep you guys posted on the next few days when I have the chance to edit together some videos. I'll be sure to post my video of the opening ceremonies when I have the chance. Don't mind my clumsy camera hand, please, sir. But yeah, I'll get back to you guys and hope to be able to keep you guys informed. Until then, farewell for now, my friends.